Hey guys, my name is Graham. In this video, I'm going to show you my bicycle camping setup, what bike I use, and the gear that I carry with me. The bike is a CoMotion Americano. This is the third summer that I have used, or I've had it, and have been using it for touring. I also ride it regularly, recreationally. And this bike I've done a few videos on already with all the details on it. A couple of things to note. I did have a video where I recently posted about switching to tubeless tires, and alas, I like those all-motion tubeless tires, but I had to go back to the standard Marathon with a tube, as the all-motions were just a little bit too wide. There's not a heck of a lot of clearance here at the back. And these are 37 millimeter tires. All motions are 40, and it was just a little too tight. I found out the hard way when I got a lot of mud accumulating on my last tour and the rubbing began. So I've also had a little problem down here with the pinion. Well, not a problem with the pinion, but it was making a creaking noise, and I did have to tighten a couple of bolts, 3 on each side. And that did resolve the clicking and creaking problem I was getting, which was kind of alarming at first, but fortunately Pinion has some good troubleshooting information on their webpage. So that's really the only two things that have been of note on the bike. So my setup on the bike is that I have 2 Ortlieb fork packs that work out pretty well because they're quite light. They don't have huge capacity, but you don't need a rack to mount them to the frame. They have like some kind of composite or plastic bracket that mounts. So I like those. Then of course, how I have that set up too is one carries just the foul weather gear, such as a rain jacket, rain pants, gloves, beanie, all that kind of stuff that you kind of want quick access to if you're cold and wet. And the other one carries all my camp kitchen gear: stove, small cup, pot, collapsible bowl, spoon, a couple other odds and ends. And then I have a frame pack that was actually custom made. I kind of splurged on that after splurging on the bike, but with the big frame, can't really find anything off the shelf that's really going to work. So that worked out really well. Restrap is the brand. They're out of England somewhere, and they did a great job on this, and it really wasn't that much. I think it was like maybe $140, which you can get definitely frame bags cheaper, but custom fits like a glove. I got 2 water bottle cages, one a regular type of cage, one is a Blackburn, I forget what they call that one, Outback I think, or something, and that one's great because you can put all different size bottles on it, and there's only 2 water bottle mounts on this bike, so it's good to have a option that'll allow a bigger container. So, and back at the rear here, we got the Ortlieb Bike Packer Plus, I believe these are, and I usually just put camping gear on one side and clothes and other items on the other side, and it just makes it easier. I know one weighs a little bit, I think the clothes weigh a little bit more than the camping gear actually, but it doesn't make that big a difference until you put the bike on a kickstand or lean it against a wall or something. But there's no point really trying to balance it all out. So that's the basic setup. I want to also carry a tripod on this rack, Tubus rack. I think it's a logo, I can't remember the details. I've had that rack longer than the bike. And I've also used a mount for my cell phone here, and I'm drawing a blank on that one. It's very popular, and I wish I could, I'm going to put it on the screen, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So that's the general overview of my setup. Let me show you the camping gear. Okay, so in this rear pannier I put, well, most of the camping gear, tent, and the other, everything except the cooking stuff goes in that fork bag, as I mentioned. So in here I've got a Big Agnes tent, which I have the poles separately in here. What's this, a beer? How did that get in there? So the poles are better to go separate because you can stand them up inside the bag. And if you put them inside the tent bag, it just takes up too much space, so it does save a little room. I've got a fleece blanket that I will demonstrate how I use that in a second. Here's something that goes on the mattress. It's like a sheet, Thermarest sheet for inflatable pad. Here's an inflatable pillow. My Big Agnes inflatable air pad, and my summer quilt that packs up fairly small. So I can get all of the basic camping stuff into one pannier without having to strap a tent on the rack or any of that kind of stuff. And I also squeeze a few odds and ends in here. There's all my cables and charging stuff. And I've also got a battery in here for recharging on the fly. So that's what's in this pannier. Now I'll set the tent up and show you how cozy my little abode is. My tent is a Big Agnes HVUL1, excuse me, one-man tent. I am 6'3" 3/4" and can just barely comfortably fit in here. I can stretch out and my toes might touch a bit if they go straight up, but the one thing I do like about this tent is the walls are very straight up and down, so it gives you a little extra space volume-wise, and it makes it feel a little bit bigger. Anyhow, I have an old video if you're interested in any more info about Big Agnes tents. So how I do this is set the fleece blanket here on the floor of the tent beneath the air mattress, and it cuts down a lot on the squeaky noise that the air mattress makes when it rubs on the floor of the tent. If you've ever experienced that, or the people sleeping next to you experience that, it can be kind of annoying. So I find that cuts down a lot on the noise. Then I'm using a quilt here. This is my summer quilt, a Thermarest quilt that I've had for several years, and it is good down to about maybe upper 40s, 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and anything colder than that I have a Enlightened equipment that's good to 20 degrees. But quilts are the way to go. You put the sheet on top of the mattress, you can flip around, it's not confining. In this tent, it takes up the whole tent. There's no way you're going to put any gear in here. It's just strictly for sleeping or relaxing. But this tent also has a pretty good vestibule area here. I don't have the fly on right now, but I've got a tarp here, so I can, or rather the ground cover actually extends out, so I can put my bags there with the rain fly over them, and everything fits pretty well. So I've got the fleece, the air pad, a Nemo mattress. It actually has a thin piece of foam on it, as well as being inflatable, and I've used, gosh, I'm thinking 8 or 10 pillows in the last 15-20 years, and they keep getting better. The Nemo one is my favorite so far. So that is it for my sleep setup here. Let me show you just briefly what I bring for a camp kitchen. As mentioned, I do carry the camp kitchen equipment in a fork bag on the front. And having that separate makes it kind of easy to maybe stop during the middle of the day when you're riding, take a break. If you feel like making a cup of coffee, or if I feel like having another bowl of oatmeal or whatever I want to cook up or eat, I can easily access it without having to dig down into a pannier. These bags are kind of small. They've only got maybe 4.5, 5 liters, I think, its capacity. So pretty small, but you can fit camp stuff in here. Here's a canister. I've got the bag here with all of my odds and ends in it. Small cutting board I like to carry around just in case you get some fruit or salami or some cheese or something you want to cut up. I carry a serrated knife as well as a spoon, and that usually gets me through. Hang on here while I drag out. That's for this setup. So I do have this overpriced, I've had this forever for backpacking too, titanium pot with a cup, and then this is like a Soto I don't know, it's kind of like a, well, it's a stove. I'm trying to think what the comparison is. There's another MSR or whatever it is, looks the same. And collapsible bowl, these are nice. I had been using just a regular plastic bowl, with collapsible ones are definitely space savers. And then in this bag here, there's a few odds and ends, mainly some stuff for washing clothes, clothesline, clothespin, some soap, pocket knife. It's got a bunch of things on it that come in handy for cooking. And that's about it on this trip. Now, I don't really do a whole bunch of real cooking. I just boil water and I make coffee, oatmeal, soup. Maybe every now and then I'll do something like heat up some beans and put them in a tortilla or something. But generally I try to eat something that's already cooked during the day, and then at night I have something that's a little bit easier. And there's also dehydrated meals that are pretty simple. You just boil water. So that way there's not so much cleaning up. And if I do cook something, generally I don't cook anything with meat in it, because meat just gets all greasy and hard to clean. And if you just have like some vegetables and pasta or something, it's a lot easier to clean up than trying to, clean up after sauteing something or what have you. Anyhow, so that's kind of a quick overview. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you somewhere down the road.